So you got player ID in PES 2013. How did that sort of evolve from PES 2012, and what do you think is added to PES 2013?
There's a heck of a lot more depth in player ID now. We never took it as far as we've taken it now and tried to include every area that you would hope to try and characterise a player. So it's not just about the way that the player looks or his haircut or his body size or anything like that. It really is the way that the player moves, the way they touch the ball, the way they run, the skills that they have, the individual skills that they have, the way they celebrate, you know, all these feelings that you have when you watch a player that really makes that player individualistic. That's what we're trying to capture in PES. I mean, they do, you know, it does also cover the stats still. So there's unique abilities to certain players, but also you have the stats that control the, you know, the level of passing, etc. So it's a complete package of individualising the player.
Yeah, and you mentioned the first touch, the depth control and everything. What do you think that adds to the game as a whole compared to 2012 maybe?
Well, I think deft touch,
flicks.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me is possibly the most exciting gameplay addition, because you know the way that you touch that ball and the way that you can move on that ball, it makes such a difference to the way that you can build up gameplay. You know, and it's so flexible as well. You know, you find yourself experimenting with flicking the ball up in the air and then seeing what else you can add to it, and then you find yourself experimenting about, you know, from which positions you can take a ball and what you can do it, and the way that you move it on and the way that you beat a player and what you can add to it. It's really, there's so much freedom to that, so much joy in the way that you can link those together, and it has an end result, because you know, though it's key to being able to beat your opponent.
Yeah. And in terms of, you change the defensive side of things slightly to counteract that. So you got double tap the defensive to tackle. I think a lot of people maybe with 2012 were slightly confused with the defensive.
Yeah.
Do you think, is that why they've changed?
Yeah, definitely. It is looking at what happened last year without question. And the feedback that we were getting, that people wanted to have it more under their own control again, to take the risk out of it, and to take, just to refine the control, so you know that you're having a direct impact on the defending. I mean, we've also added the ability to change the distance that you hold play up at as well. We've also made it possible for you to tackle from anywhere around the player and actually tackle the player himself as well. So it's very flexible.
And you've got obviously manual shooting, manual passing. What do you think that adds to the game? Obviously there'll be probably a learning curve period in terms of that. Do you think that might put certain players off, or do you think?
I'd hope not, because at the end of the day the team still want to keep in the ability to have AI assistance if you choose.
Yeah.
So you still should be able to have whatever level of play that you want out of the game. It is a massive learning curve if you want to try and take on everything at once, and that's why we've added new levels of training, which is going to hopefully get you into it. I think you'll start off being quite frustrated, but as soon as it starts to come together, even if you're not doing it regularly, you'll understand how much more control that gives you over your situation, and I think you'll then use those abilities more and more until eventually you'll become very skilled.
I think keepers is a sort of point of discussion for the last couple of years. Playing code, seems keepers have improved a lot. You've added different styles. Just instead of talking about keepers, to be fair.
We certainly had to take notice of keepers. We did do what we could at the time to improve them last year, and I think they were an improvement on the year before as well. But that's not to say that we were anywhere near where we should have been, I think. And it's been, it was probably the first thing that the team started working on, because it was the most obvious complaint levelled against us by fans. I think what they've done a good job of is not just concentrating on 1 or 2 points within goalkeepers, but looking at the whole system and trying to look at all of the aspects that makes a great goalkeeper and trying to replicate those. and there is also some player ID in there as well. So you should notice some sort of individualistic elements creeping into the player, into the goalkeepers as well.
And from the visual side of things, is there any new animations introduced? Also, you've got flicks and stuff. Is there anything apart from that really introduced?
Well, the goalkeepers have got new animations. Yeah, for example, there's the way that you move the ball around now, because of the level of control you have over the dribbling. Those are new animations, and then obviously, as you mentioned, there's new animations for particular turns and skills. There's obviously new animations for the first touch that you have. So yeah, it's not like you'll sit down and immediately say everything has changed in the game, because it's not, and that's not the idea of PES 2013. The idea of PES 2013 is to really highlight certain areas that make a big difference to the way the game plays, and then try and improve the animations to support that. And then other things, we're not really going to go into this year, because we want to really concentrate on something that makes an impact on the way the game plays.
Just general outside of PES, you've been at E3 for a while. What's the other game, any other non-Konami game maybe you're looking forward to playing, looking to see?
I'm looking forward to be able to see any games while I'm at E3. What usually happens is I find myself in a meeting room 100% of the time. We showed some interesting stuff at the Microsoft stand. I'll probably spend my time asking other people what I should go and see, take their recommendations, and then if I've got 5 minutes, go off and see it. But
you should go to Ubisoft stand.
Yeah,
Watch Dogs. I'm not sure. Probably heard about it a bit. Watch Dogs. That's looking good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and squeeze that in between my toilet break and my coffee break.
No worries. Yeah. Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.